Stephen Pomper is the director of the U.S. program for the International Crisis Group. He also served on the National Security Council as Special Assistant to President Obama. We spoke to him about possible outcomes in this historic summit.
I think for all of the unconventional aspects, I think the outcome could be pretty conventional. There's only so far that these parties are going to be able to get in a couple of days in Singapore with only a bit of preparation time. So I expect the outcome will probably be some kind of general statement of principles and hopefully create a path towards a diplomatic process that'll keep the two parties sort of in a de-escalatory mode for a period more. That would be a good place to land.
So is this more of a photo op at this point?
I don't think it's a photo op. I think it could be a ribbon cutting for, a helpful process. But I do think they both have an interest in backing off from the brinksmanship that characterized the relationship in 2017. That was getting to a dangerous point for both the United States and North Korea. Both countries have an interest in sort of taking the heat off now. They've really done that with the cessation of testing on the North Korean side and this diplomatic sort of olive branch on the U.S. side. And now I think the question is, can they get out of the summit with a decent outcome that affirms each side's strategic priorities and then puts them on a path where they can have a continued diplomatic exchange, keep the heat down for a period going forward.
So you don't think we're going to have any real firm details coming out of this, nothing signed?
Well, I think what will happen is, and what I hope will happen, is that both sides come to affirm the other strategic priorities. So the United States recognizes that the DPRK wants an end to what they refer to as a hostile relationship. DPRK affirms its commitment to denuclearization as an ultimate goal. The two leaders agree that they'll meet again, and they kick off a diplomatic process. And then it's really going to be for the two teams, for Mike Pompeo and his counterpart, to come up with a goal that they can drive towards in that process.
So China obviously has a huge stake in all of this. What would be a worst-case scenario for China in this and the Republic of Korea?
So I think what China, wants is a situation where there's no war, no chaos, no nukes, and no deal where they are completely left out of the picture at the end of the day. And I think from their perspective, they're in a pretty good place right now, because I think it's very likely that this is going to head in the right direction from the perspective of those interests. A bad outcome would be the two parties get very frustrated with each other, either at the summit or soon thereafter, and they go back to the cycle of brinksmanship that characterized their relationship in 2017. The situation on the peninsula gets more tense. There's a military buildup. That's something that China doesn't want to see. As long as this thing is on a diplomatic path and China's being consulted, I think that's probably a decent enough situation from their perspective.
Quickly, it's interesting all the tension between the U.S. and China over tariffs, but yet the U.S. is there as an advocate.
The U.S. is there as an advocate for a set of interests that I think bind it and a lot of the other regional partners in denuclearization, de-escalation, et cetera. I think they have enough common interests there to work together towards those goals.
And that was Stephen Pomper of the International Crisis Group.